I found out my parents adopted me solely to be a bone marrow donor for their biological son, and now that he's sick again, they want me to help. I'm 23, and my brother, Leo, is 25. Leo is my parents' biological son, and I was adopted when I was a toddler. Growing up, I always knew Leo was fragile. He had leukemia when he was young, and I remember spending a lot of time in hospitals. My earliest memory is actually a dull, aching pain in my hip because I donated bone marrow to him when I was 4 years old. I was always told I was a hero. I was the little miracle who saved his life. Fast forward to last week. Leo has been in remission for almost 2 decades, but he started feeling tired and bruising easily. The results came back, and it's a nightmare. The cancer is back. My parents were devastated, obviously. They called me over for dinner 3 nights ago, and the vibe was suffocating. My mom was crying into her napkin, and my dad looked like he hadn't slept in a week. They didn't waste time with small talk. My dad looked me dead in the eye and told me that Leo needs a transplant again. And since I was a perfect match before, they need me to do it again. I hesitated. I know that sounds selfish, but the last time was traumatic, and I have a life, a job, and anxiety about medical procedures. I told them I needed to think about it. They didn't take that well. My mom started screaming that I was being ungrateful, that I owed them everything because they saved me from the foster system. I left the house feeling guilty and confused. But here's where it gets twisted. I went back the next day while they were at the hospital with Leo to grab some old paperwork I needed for my taxes. I found a box in my dad's study labeled with my adoption agency's name. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. I found emails between my parents and a facilitator dating back to before I was adopted. They weren't looking for a child to love. They were specifically filtering for a genetic match for Leo. One email from my dad explicitly asked if the agency could fast-track a child who matched Leo's HLA markers because time was running out. I felt like the floor dropped out from under me. I wasn't chosen. I was harvested. I sat there on the floor for an hour, reading proof that my entire existence in this family was a calculated medical transaction. I feel cheated, humiliated, and absolutely furious. Now my phone is blowing up with texts from them asking if I've scheduled the screening yet. My question to you guys is, am I the a-hole if I refuse to donate? How do I even confront them about this without destroying Leo, who probably doesn't know? Commenter. NTA. Oh my god, OP. This is horrifying. You are a human being, not a bag of spare parts. The fact that they threw the "we saved you" card in your face the second you hesitated tells you everything you need to know. They view your adoption as a transaction. They bought you, so they own your organs. You need to protect yourself right now. Do not let them bully you into a medical procedure. Confront them if you want, but you owe them nothing. Update. 4 days later. Reading the comments on my last post gave me enough adrenaline to actually pick up the phone. But I decided I couldn't do this over text. I needed to see their faces when I asked them. I felt sick driving over there. My heart pounding so hard I thought I was going to pass out. When I walked in, the house was quiet. Leo is currently in the hospital for chemo, so it was just my parents. They looked relieved to see me, assuming I was there to agree to the procedure. My mom immediately tried to hug me, saying she knew I'd come around and do the right thing. I dodged her hug and threw the copies of the emails I'd made on the coffee table. I asked them to explain why they requested a specific genetic match instead of a son. The silence was deafening. I watched my dad's face turn from relief to pure panic. He didn't even try to deny it. He started stammering, saying that I didn't understand what it was like to have a dying child, and that they were desperate. He told me that they learned to love me later. But yes, initially, they needed a cure for Leo. I felt like I was going to vomit. I told them that knowing they shopped for me like a replacement part ruined every happy memory I have of this family. My mom got defensive instantly. She started crying, not the sad kind, but the angry, manipulative kind. She screamed that they gave me a good life,